Egypt, capital dominion of the Moorish Empire. So he goes to Egypt and exposed that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law. Michelle breaks tradition. She triangulates, goes to the Alhambra, the Red House. Then they let themselves be seen clearly with the true American flag. There's your red flag with 5-pointed green star. They cut out the trading banner. She's wearing a red dress, they walk on a white carpet. Then the guard is standing due guard, 40 feet, 45 degree angle, stand with the Moorish flag, big as day, for the whole world to see. Then Hillary goes to the Ben Franklin room, which they do not speak from publicly, and speaks on the issue on Benghazi with 3 Moroccan flags behind her and 3 trading banners. Showing you clear as day. What are they supposed to do? Get on the railroad tracks? You know, and it's sort of like they tell these people over and over again they don't get it. And why is it these people don't get it? Because some people who are claiming to be lovers of no neutrality have not taken this information to the 4 corners of the world, to all nations. Therefore, it has allowed people to make them stupid and spurious statements right to your face when that's the world's oldest running treaty. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to show you. This is again. I want to show you something. These are things that are so obvious, but again, you know, you can only get away with lies with people who don't read, but they know these people don't read. See, so they're able to get away with this kind of stuff. You know, and then you also understand why some of these guys will not talk about this history. Let me go here. Now, of course, well, you all know. Let's look at this. Now, you know the misinformation, and this is why certain things are redundant that you show to people who don't know the history, because you know they've been miseducated. But when you want to eliminate their capacity to keep lying, pretending that they don't know this, you got to simply know the information. So let me give you what is obvious. Now, you already know that Obama told you about that the treaty, oldest running treaty between nations on the earth, right? So how can they not know this when that's the foundation of the founding of the United States Corporation operating at Morocco? How can they possibly not know? And you know these grand sheiks and sheikesses know, but you already, well, I ain't got to tell you about the sellout. We already know that. Now, here's George Washington and his Masonic garb. So they can pretend that has no relationship, and why these people ain't, you know, all Masons, like they don't know what they're talking about and all this sort of stuff, right? Now, what is this? Who's that man right there with his Masonic garb and his apron?
George.
Now, you already know he was the 9th president, and you already know that they teach the dummies that he was the first president because they know they can't read. They're called little boys and girls. You know, another title they use for them is called minorities. That means adults with depends on, because they got the mentality of boys and girls. They think it means Afrocentric group. It actually means people with the mentality of children. Then it says, letter from George Washington to Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sultan of Morocco. Huh? So how is it that they don't know who the Moors are? Just a question. Just use your logic. So you think that so-called teacher don't know this? Why they sit around calling you colored when they know that you're Moor? All right. Now look, since the date of the letter, which the late Congress, so the first sentence in his letter to the Sultan is, since the date of the letter, which the late Congress by their president, his first line indicates that he wasn't the first president.
That's right.
Before we even get into it. And yet, so-called people who claim to love the prophet keep on teaching their children that he was the 9th president, while secretly being addicts they know that he wasn't. Why aren't they telling these people the truth?
Yeah.
It's called sellout. Now you see why they're always attacking people who teach constitutional law? And keep telling people it's only a religious organization when it's a divine and national movement of the world. Anyway, now let's just read this real quick, right? Since the date of the letter which the late Congress by their president addressed your Imperial Majesty, who's the Imperial Majesty? The United States of America have thought proper to change their government and initiate a new one agreeable to the Constitution. So you can see those principles already existed, of which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. The time necessarily employed in the arduous task and the disarrangements occasioned by so great no peaceful revolution will apologize and account for your Majesty's not having received those regularly advised marks of attention from the United States, which the friendship and magnanimity of your conduct toward them afforded reason to expect. The United States having unanimously appointed me, so you can see he was appointed.
Yeah.
To supreme executive authority in this nation, your Majesty's letter of August the 17th, 1788. That's 2 years before he was what? Appointed to office.
Yeah.
Who's he writing to? Sultan of Morocco. This teacher telling you should don't know it. Nothing about Moors, and you let black leaders keep telling you this stuff too? You already know they're called teleoperatives. Which is the reason of dissolution of the late government. So he's telling you dissolution of another government. Remain unanswered has been delivered to me. I have also received the letters which your Imperial Majesty has been so kind as to write in favor of the United States to the Bashars of Tunis and Tripoli, and I present to you the sincere acknowledgments and thanks of the United States for this important mark of your friendship for them. Now you understand when Obama was talking about the Treaty of Tripoli? Because he's the president of the corporation. He's telling you your history. Why them Grand Chiefs telling you this? Because they keep telling people that draw lead and teach civics. That's why when constitutional enforcement is absolutely the highest level of civics. And they've been allowed to get away with it. And sitting around spending their time criticizing Taji guy. And getting away with it. But the world has been defending us in spite of them. So the world already knows that they're co-cooperatives. Now, long war have not as yet had time to acquire riches by agriculture and commerce, but our soil is bountiful and our people industrious, and we have reason to flatter ourselves that we shall gradually become useful to our friends. Who's their friends? The Moors. Because we backed them. We brought them out of darkness into light.
She said that. She said we were good friends with them in Spain.
Of course she knows. They all know. The deal is, you know, and you're not supposed to be surprised. You're supposed to make your little brothers and sisters sitting around and think that human beings are crayons. It's your duty to wake them up. The encouragement with which your Majesty has pleased generously to give to our commerce with your dominions. Where do you think they're standing?
Our dominion.
Our dominion.
Thank you very much. The punctuality with which you have caused the treaty with us to be observed. Pope's telling you and Obama's telling you. So now, if you don't understand their obligation to the Constitution and the treaty together and don't enforce it, that means laches. Does that mean you've abandoned your estate?
Yes, sir.
So if Joali brought you back the knowledge of your nationality, your birthright, you lost the state, and you don't enforce this, it's called laches. Abandonment. So he said, if you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. But it's not just saying that you're Moorish American, you better know your history. Because upon a challenge, you can't claim your estate. This is what's been happening to us. Are we clear? Yeah. And that's why in the Dungy cases, you can see it deals with rights that people don't even attach to land. They think that land just means the soil.
Part and parcel.
Anyway, the encouragement with your Majesty has been pleased generously to give to our commerce with your dominions the punctuality with which you have caused the treaty with us to be observed, and the just and generous measures taken in the case of Captain Proctor make a deep impression on the United States and confirm their respect for and attachment to your Imperial Majesty. So you can see the United States is an appendage of the Moroccan Empire.
Islam.
Yes.
Islam.
Yeah.
Like a finger.
Yeah.
It gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity of assuring your Majesty that while I remain at the head of this nation, I shall not cease to promote every measure that may conduce to the friendship and harmony which subsists between your empire and them. So they don't know what the Moorish Empire is?
Yeah, they know.
And shall esteem myself happily in every occasion of convincing your Majesty of the high sense which in common with the whole nation I entertain the magnanimity, wisdom, and benevolence of your Majesty. May the Almighty bless your Imperial Majesty, our great and magnanimous friend, with his constant guidance and protection. Signed, George Washington. But just let's read the entry of the preamble, 1786, 1787. Now you see what Obama's talking about? And then the Treaty of Tripoli, 1790. And this is the world's longest running treaty. How come these grand chiefs don't teach these people about their constitutional enforcement, covenant? Half these Moors ain't never even seen this. But they sit around talking about no withdrawal. In law, they would be held incompetent. Or, do you understand? Doesn't mean that they're not sympathetic, but in law, they're incompetent. To all persons to whom these presents shall come or be made known, whereas the United States of America in Congress assembled by their commission bearing the date 12th day, May 1784, thought proper to constitute John Adams. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin. You ever heard of him?
Plenipotentiary.
Thomas Jefferson. You ever heard of him?
Plenipotentiary.
Their minister's plenipotentiary. You ever heard of that title?
Plenipotentiary.
Teach right there.
There you go. Giving to them, or majority of them, full powers to confer, treat, and negotiate with the ambassador, minister, or commissioner of His Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco. Thank you very much.
Islam.
We don't need to go any further. So when they play dumb, all you got to do is get them documents. Being Moorish Americans, you got this stuff. See, you don't let them talk that Negro crap to you. Because they do know. Let me tell you something. They're members of the bar. They're members of the Daughters of the American Revolution. They're Knights of Malta, Knights of Columbus, Masons, Shriners, and every damn thing else. They only play dumb with that with Negroes and monkeys, not with nationals. Nationals deal with national and international law and constitutions and treaties. They don't deal with beliefs. They deal with facts. And the prophet restored your lost estate, and that's where you talk from. Go ahead,
I just want to add to y'all wisdom
Go
real
ahead.
quick. I want to add to y'all wisdom because you asked plenipotentiary. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 1314. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, on the ancient and modern terms of jurisprudence. Plenipotentiary, one who has full power to do a thing, semicolon.
Isn't that called jurisdiction? That's full power act, right?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
A person fully commissioned to act for another, period. A term applied in international law to ministers and envoys of the second rank of public ministers. Wheat, History, Law, National 266.
Now, again, when you even read that, isn't it clearer to understand Act 1 in the Divine Constitution and bylaws for the Moorish Science Temple of America? No withdrawal wasn't planned, was he?
No.
Have they been carrying out the law?
No.
I'm not saying they haven't. Let their actions speak. Let their actions speak. Now, your job is to defend the prophet and the divine national movement. Stop playing with these people
Islamism.
while you're being injured. Anyway, now let's go to, now in the divine constitutional bylaws, when Drew Ali talk about 14th Amendment, not necessary for a salvation of my people and citizens, right?
Yes.
Right.
And you talk about the 14th Amendment being spurious, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the 14th. Let's go to the Charge d'Affaires in Naturalization Act, right? And again, we're going to see
Mr. Phillip.
these people who claim to love no neutrality won't talk about this. This is part of the original 20 sections of the 13th Amendment. And this is in congressional records, right? And you'll notice that they won't teach these Moors this either. They stay away from this stuff because this is called civics and constitutional enforcement. Now notice at section 13, pardon me, 12, pardon me, section 12. The traffic in slaves with Africa is hereby forever prohibited on pain of death, and with the forfeiture of all the rights and property of persons engaged therein. And the descendants of Africans shall not be citizens. So can you be a citizen of the United States Service Corporation?
No.
No, because they're occupying your land, dummies. The treaty and the Constitution is what protects you. Now you understand why they removed the nobility clause? So they can enforce the fake 14th Amendment and make you think that you're a U.S. citizen when they really calling you stop. See what the Pope was talking about in his letter to Obama? Talking the theft of your estate. Now now this is addressing issues of citizenship. We want to go to all of this, and again, remember, this is the necessity of us enforcing consular court, and why you need to do it, but you need to be aware of why you need to do it. So let's go to a letter. This is a letter from the Charge d'Affaires. Now remember, Drawley set up the Old Canaanite Temple 1912, 1913 solidified. Are we clear?
Islam.
Now this is 1906. Now read this together, y'all. Citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. Page 459. Right? Chapter 5, temporary provisions. Now what country do you see right there? Very clear. And these people like they don't know. What's that say? Let me, y'all can't read. What country do you see right there? Oh, they don't know this is Morocco?
They know.
I just read George Washington's letter.
And that date, 1906.
All right, Charge d'Affaires to Mr. Root, Secretary of State, right? August 3, 1906, American Legation, Tangier, August 3, 1906. Sir, there are strictly speaking no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country, see what Obama was talking about? Are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. You see what that French Muslim was fooling Malcolm? When he went over there with that black and white stuff? White man, devil. Don't even know he's a white man. It's a status, it's not a complexion. Anyway, now, let's complete this letter. Now consider the divine warning by the prophet for the nations as you're reading this letter to the Charge d'Affaires. 460, citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. Consider the 14th Amendment and the creation of what is called the transmitting utility, the nom-de-guerre, war name, the brand system. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instruction that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report on such lines, I will therefore confine these remarks to general conditions existing which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. 1. Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. That means you got to prove that you're not Moorish.
Right.
You got to prove that you're not Moorish, whether you got an identification card or not.
Yes.
Number 2 and 3. Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized, not nationalized, naturalized, that's 14th Amendment, in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. See what Obama was talking about? He's trying to tell you ain't black.
Can you read 2 and 3 again for those that are out there following people in turbans and feathers telling them to naturalize?
Oh,
Well, once you read, this is the whole point. Once you teach people what the law is, they can take responsibility and see what everybody's motive is. Because that ain't got nothing to do with what I believe or somebody else believes. This is telling you what the law is. These people, by being naturalized, that's that 14th Amendment crap, lost their nationality. And that's the only way they lost it. It's documented. This United States, citizenship and expatriation. And as you can see, they're in treaty with the Moorish Empire. So anybody pretending they don't know this, any scholar, any teacher, any government official act like they don't know because they're Masons and they got a blood death oath not to reveal secrets and they getting paid to betray you and the prophet, to steal your estate. That's what's going on. That's why I'm giving you these documents so you can't deny it. And these thieves can't keep on playing this Negro game with you and pretending that they don't know this or that Taji guy is making this stuff up, which is what they've been trying to tell people. I'm telling these people stuff that's making up this stuff and is wrong, getting them in trouble.
Man knows not by being told.
This is documented. You're obligated to this.
Get them in trouble because we're not studying.
And everybody keep on agreeing to that 14th Amendment, keep losing their birthright, then they're going to march and pray all over the place, trying to keep hope alive. No, they need to declare their nationality and honor their mothers and fathers and render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. But they don't want to do that, so they get ready to get screwed. Go ahead, April.
Can you tell me the difference?
Get the mic, because you got a soft voice in.
Yes, she does. Can you tell me the difference between when people say they're Indian and then they say they're Native American?
How did we start becoming Indian?
Isn't that
No, back up. Answer your own question. How did the Moors of the Western Hemisphere become called Indians?
Columbus.
All right, tell me about Columbus's records, because it's documented.
He came up, well, first of all, he thought the world was flat. And then he came over here, and then he just called us Indians.
Now, where were they going originally? What was the original trips that Ferdinand and Isabella was funding for them to go to Madagascar and Sindh, which is later called India, to take over the trade routes of the Moors? They could not go across the Red Sea because of Calpe. That is called the Rock of Gibraltar, or the Rock of Gibraltar. Gibraltar is the name of the Moorish general, because we had a fort there for hundreds of years. And so they went around the Cape. That was the plan, to go around the Cape of South Asia, which is now called Africa, to get to Madagascar. But instead, Pedro, go look at the records, go look at the documents, it's documented, navigated the Nino. His name was Pedro, a Moor. He took them to the last of the Atlantis Island, which is now called Puerto Rico, Dominica, Jamaica, all those islands. That's the last string of the Atlantis Islands. They never hit the mainland. And when they got on them islands, they saw statues, old statues carved out of single stone that they can't even understand how it was moved, and they got feathers on them. And then the people, when you deal with the Algonquins and the Iqua, those were confederations. They were not tribes themselves. They were confederation of tribes, of nations. And they had turbans and feathers with crescents and stars and feathers, etc. And they saw, well, we didn't reach Sindh, and they called it India. And so they called us Indians of the West. And that's where the term West Indies has its origin. This ain't India. It's Morocco. Do you understand? And so this is where the term came. So when you understand that, you answer your own question. It's another brand. It's not who you are. Excuse me. This lunchbox phone. You'll see here.
Got a question behind you.
It better be important.
It actually is. It actually is, but I just can't answer it right now. But the deal of it is, and this is why it's important to know the history, so that you don't get caught in arguing a platform that's a fraud. See, this is the whole deal. They set up a false paradigm when you start giving it support, at that time, you've given up your birthright. Meaning that the Moors of the West were called Indians. They're not Indians. It's like they were called black, but they're not black. And now in the 1800s, to get Moors divided, what you call a set-up schism, telling some of them they would get, and particularly some of the Shemnites. Now the Shemnites are mostly what they'll show you as Indians in the movies and stuff. And those are mixtures between Moors, Frenchmen, and Chinese. And that's the Asiatic tribes that you see, you know, in the West mostly. Yes, they're the Mongolian, you know, but they're still indigenous, but we're aboriginal. Are we clear? Mm-hmm. Now, and so, even though they're indigenous to the land, they're hybrids. Do you understand? That doesn't disconnect them. But you're the heirs to the estate. Are we clear? You're the aboriginal. That means first. Primogeniture, by right. Are we clear?
Yeah.
So, when our people agreed to be Indians, they thought they was going to get a benefit. You understand? Then they established the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
You got some
and the ones that
reservations.
agreed to be Indians,
They got some
think
reservations.
they're going to get a piece of the action. So what they did, they put them on concentration camps that they called reservations. Barren lands. And then start feeding them drugs and liquor and alcohol, smallpox and everything, start killing them off. Now, the guy who played in the movie 300, y'all seen that movie 300? All right, he used to call me on a regular basis. Now, he was also a chieftain of Navajo. Those are a series of tribes in the West. And we was talking about, now he's dead now, I think they killed him really. But what they were doing with the so-called tribes that they called Indians, they were dissolving all treaties with the United States Corporation and starting to declare their Moorish nationality because they know they've been trapped. And then all of the casinos and everything that they started, they started taxing and stealing because there ain't no such thing as Indian. When they agreed to be Indians, they gave up their birthright too.
Yes, they did.
See, everybody got tricked. You know, but once you understand these things, you know, you don't keep falling for it. You start just simply tell the truth. You're Moorish. Stop trying to be somebody you're not. As soon as you do, you lose your birthright. And they keep on offering these people apples and they keep biting them. You know, and it's the truth. And they take a bite of this one, you get sovereignty. Oh, yeah. And then they started HMOs, then they started site draft, then they do affidavits to the Transportation Department, then they did UCCs, then they do financial statements, now they're doing birth certificates. All of them trying to get a hold of that global estate trust set up by the Pope after the fall of the Red House. Why don't you just be yourself and declare your nationality and carry out what the prophet told you to carry out? Excuse me, go ahead, good brother.
Taj, can you speak to the $3 billion or $5 billion in quote
What dollars? Ain't no dollars. No, see,
fiat.
no, say no, because the fiat is not dollars and it ain't money. It's a bookkeeping.
The bookkeeping transaction that they allegedly gave to the Indians and called reparation. The act.
Once they agreed, they lost all right in future reparations. Why do you think they put the UCCs out there? Once you take 1 penny or the promise of it, that's a contract. And so that means you've been satisfied.
Cleverly did it.
And it's fiat. It ain't money. It's a bookkeeping instrument. When the whole estate. See, this is the deal. This is where some of them, you know, still avoiding telling the Aboriginal who they really are. Everybody's still trying to steal your estate. Just like you see Europeans now with these different sovereignty groups. Trying to use state citizens and American citizens. There ain't no such damn thing. If you're a citizen, you got to name the state. You got to name the nation state. Because all law is specific. You can't be Chinese and claim sovereignty in Russia. When Castro nationalized Cuba, did he say white and green people and don't matter what color you are? And the black people? No, he said Cuba for Cubans.
That's right.
When Chavez nationalized Venezuela, Did he call them white and green people? No, they're Venezuelans. When Hitler nationalized Germany, did he say Polak and white and green people? No, he said Germany from Germans. Everybody else, party's over. You ain't got to go home, but you're leaving here.
Yes.
Kite, balloons, frog feet, bicycle, swim, float, logs, party's over. And those who don't go, you're food for the gators. Then they got that gas and stuff from Newark, New Jersey. And guess who built their, most of their engines for the Third Reich? Lockheed. This is congressional records. This is known fact. This is none of this stuff is secret. It's just that people who don't read don't know these things. And so they just believe things because somebody said something without any knowledge. Being Moorish American, you're supposed to study.
So we're
Go ahead.
Asiatics, right?
Speak louder. I want you to have the mic. I don't want you on the mic.
I think the brother behind you had the mic.
Yeah, I had a,
Go ahead.
well,
Go ahead.
the
Again.
question I had is I have several friends that I guess they're trying to pitch their doctrine to me of this Hebrew Israelite
Wait,
thing.
speak louder, please, and speak clear.
Several of my friends are telling me about this quote-unquote Hebrew Israelite doctrine, saying that the people that were here, they are part of the 12 tribes, and in Puerto Rico, they are part of the 12 tribes.
Well, then you got to know the 12 tribes of Isis, Amun Ra, Elohim, are. And then you're talking about Dr. Yaqub of Central Africa, and you're talking about Patagonia, that is now called Argentina. Now I'm talking about the scientific complexes.
Well, yeah, I'm rational.
No, the reason I'm saying that to you, when people start talking like that, they're implying that they know the hybrid history. And it's going to tell you that history and what that relationship is to you. You know what I'm just saying? See, because Hebrew is really a corruption of what is called Ibri. And Ibri are those of us who crossed the river before the great earthquake. That's before the Atlantis became an ocean. And those who came on this side when the dividing of the land was called the ancient Superdevir of ancient Hukukta, dividing of the land between Ham and Cush, those who crossed the river are Ibri. That means all of us are the Ibri. It's not a different people, it's not an identity, it's what we did. When you know the history, you don't get confused with this. People think it's a nationality. It's an act. Ibri means those who crossed over the river. It's not an identification. People keep on misusing information, meaning well, and I'm not knocking, because it's better than being nigger and black. But however, who you say that treaty with? Is that treaty? Is that treaty with the Hebrew people?
No, no.
Sorry.
No, we're talking document, not opinion.
Right.
So now, just like them other people that claim to be somebody not, all they gotta do, if that's who anybody is, go home to your nation. Because everything is on the planet is being nationalized now. That's what's happening. You know, and what I'm appealing to you, I'm not supporting or condemning anyone, I'm giving you documents to back up what I'm telling you. You can do with it what you will. This information is available to them too. And if people keep on claiming to be who they're not, thinking that they're claiming to be who they are, and they're off the platform, they have no protection. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You know, and I'm not saying that people ain't saying those things. I already know about what that is. And I'm not condemning them because I respect because a lot of the brothers are studying and studying hard.
Right.
However, that concept is looked at improperly because it's not an ID. It's not an identification. It's not a bloodline. It's an action. Do you understand? Now, before what is called Pan, before the earthquake, the great earthquake, the dividing of the land between Ham and Cush. Is Ham and Cush a different people, or is that mother and sons?
No. Father, son.
If you leave the house and leave it to your daughter, does that make you different people?
No.
So you leave the house and you go cross the river to Philadelphia. So you cross the river.
All right.
Now they say, oh, she and her family crossed the river. So it's called Ibri. What is Ibri? Those who cross the river.
Right.
What is the corruption of Ibri? Those who cross the river. Hebrew. You understand? That's not, you didn't change your nationality. That's an action. That's not a bloodline.
What I think where the biggest corruption comes from, you know, we read from these books where
It's
they actually say,
this is what it is. It's misconception of taking the Septuaginta and the Bible from the perspective of European eyes who have been trying to steal our birthright and the sincere effort of reclaiming your nationality. That's what the intention is. Because the intention is, honor your mothers and fathers that your days may be longer upon the earth land which the Lord thy God has given thee. It's a lost estate. I hold my hand out all the day long to a hard-hearted and rebellious people who are not called by my name. When they repent from their sinful ways, I will hear from heaven and heal their land. You're talking about an estate. And so, though that's a sincere effort, I'm not condemning the effort. I understand it, and I'm harmonic with it. I'm just saying to you, the misconception of thinking Hebrew is a bloodline or nationality is incorrect. It's an action. It's those who cross the river. Are we clear?
Clear.
Now, this is where etymology is important.
Like Ethiopia.
Go look it up in etymology.
There it is. It'll come right there.
That's what it means, those who cross the river. What's it got to do with bloodline? I mean, use your intelligence. Well, so that means there's somebody that's got a wrong concept. It doesn't mean that they're insincere. They're building on a false concept. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I'm following you.
It is no different than putting wrong numbers in the computer, not that you're trying to cheat somebody. Just can't count.
Hey, brother,
Go ahead.
not just to add to the brother what he going on, because somebody on the Facebook had a question, brother Jarrell Bey had asked, could you speak on, since we're speaking about nationality, he wanted...
Can you please get that on the mic, because it's important. Because remember, a lot of these things people will be referencing to build on, because we have to correct some things. And then something that we might say wrong, they have to call us to the table and correct it so that we can correct ourselves.
Right.
This is one of the reasons why whenever I tell you something, I will go to reference documents to show you that the rest of the world already knows this stuff. Y'all just been held back. Even by people who's supposed to have been teaching you.
That's right.
Who you've been trusting.
That's right.
We love Prophet Noah Lady. Until you do some research and you start finding out that some of these people is going to tell prophets. They'll spend more time knocking what we're doing than they do doing their job. That was assigned to them 60, 70 years ago. That has not been carried out. Go ahead, good brother.
And I didn't forget about you, Mother April. Now, Brother Jarrell Bey says he has a clear understanding of it, but would love to hear what you would have to say in lieu of more American versus Moorish American. On the
Moorish Americans, why did Wally call us Moorish Americans?
Yes, because
And what is the difficulty of him even trying to raise these Moors? Because we've been mixed.
Yes.
And we have the spirit of other nations too with us. Because one of Rome's missions is to reduce the bloodline. This is why every 7 or so generations Europeans will come and rape our women or mix, because their genetic form is what it was called recessive, and they will die out.
right.
And because the Moabite woman is essentially the mother of humanity. Even though they must suppress her in order to rob the nation. But also they need her to live. It's a paradox. Now, most of us, except for a few, got mixed blood, although we're still genetically from the firstborn.
Right.
Are we clear?
Clear.
So there's a primogeniture principle. One of the keys to understanding the primogeniture principle is that the heirs of the estate were tagged Negro, Black, Colored, Indian, Latino. Are we clear?
Clear.
You already know those ones are the firstborn, because that's where the imposters come to steal your estate. So they do the brand system that makes you non-descendable. Are we clear?
Clear.
That's the indicator of who the heirs are, because they've been robbed. Are we clear?
Clear.
Now, this is what the Pope is telling you. And the Pope owns the corporation. But remember, he's under pressure just like other by Manchurian Masons, because they put out about 6.5 million perfected assassins to start countering the Europeans. And there's a civil war going on here, and an international war going on where they're battling between the P2 Masons, the Manchurians, and then other nation states who are going behind or under the guise of what you call the BRICS nations and the Mint nations. This is where the Asiatic nations of the world are coming together to kill the popes and the Jesuits' pristine operations of their treasury bonds that's been built on us since the Civil War, which the Pope is telling you about in that letter to Obama. Are we clear? And so you're not dealing with money, you're dealing with bookkeeping on the world's largest estate. And when you start calling those instruments money, you just let them off the hook. When you call him white man, you just let him off the hook. When you call yourself Negro, Black, and Colored, you just let him off the hook. That's why I'm giving you these documents so you can stop producing false statements and then trying to get fixed out of it. You can't be colored and therefore be right. Good brother, just for a minute, before you don't lose your question, but read colored from the Law Dictionary. Give it out.
I'm sorry, I was reading what the brother question was. He was corresponding.
Yeah, I want you to read color from the law book.
Oh, it's on page 331. I know that part.
Very good. Yeah. And get the mic. Somebody hold the mic for him so he can hold the book. Hold the mic to his face. Don't start singing either.
I'll try not to.
You know you can sing.
All right.
Thank you, Mother. Okay, color on page 331.
And colored too. Color and then colored. Go ahead. Read color and then colored.
Alrighty, I got you. Color, an appearance, semblance, or simulacrum, as distinguished from that which is real, a prima facie, or apparent right. Hence, a deceptive appearance, a plausible, assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality.
So what do our people tell to the world when they say they're people of color?
They consume
Thinking it means Afrocentricity. They're just telling the world that they're fake.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Colored.
Now read color.
Colored on page 332 of Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Colored, by common usage in America, this term in such phrases as quote-unquote colored persons, the colored race,
Quote,
and
unquote.
colored men, all three quote-unquote, and the like, is used to designate Negroes or persons of the African race, including all persons of mixed blood descended from Negro ancestry. That's Collins versus Oklahoma. In the small print, it says, but where a state constitution provided for separate schools for the white and colored races, the term white race, quote unquote, was held to be limited to the Caucasian race, and the term, quote unquote, colored races to embrace all other races, Rice versus Gong. It has also been held that there is no legal technical signification to the phrase, quote unquote, colored person, which the courts are bound judicially to know. That's
Read that last line again.
It says, it has also been held that there is no legal technical signification to the phrase, quote unquote, colored person, which the courts are bound judicially to know.
So as soon as you call yourself a colored person, the court don't even have to recognize you because it ain't no such person. As soon as you agree to be, you lost your birthright, haven't you?
That's right.
Now, why do some scholars keep on running around talking to these people that they're people of color, knowing that it's a fraud? And then wonder why rights are not recognized with such persons.
Organizations named that.
Exactly. Ran by some people who claim to be Jews. After they murdered women at Niagara Falls. Because that's what it was called originally, Niagara movement, when the sisters, because we always meditated by the Great Lakes, which were made by atomic power. They were not natural lakes. They were made by atomic power in order to make fresh water for the Western Hemisphere. And the women always went there to meditate. And they started rebelling against European occupation. They murdered the women, cut off their heads, many of them, threw them over Niagara Falls. And then some Yiddish, called themselves Jews, took over it in 1909 and called it the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, which was really the Niagara movement. And as soon as they agreed to be people of color, again, they lost their birthright. That's why in their charter, they say they can't own property. And how many people been funding that own nigger organization in the name of progress? And don't even know its history.
Teach, man.
Do you understand? So the civilized world ain't got time to keep playing with these people that want to be monkeys and then wonder why they don't have human rights. But they want to tell you about Jesus, God, Allah, and Muhammad. They're full of doo-doo. And the world don't have time for this. You know, and it's not that we don't sympathize with our condition, but you can't keep supporting a lie and getting good out of it. It's not going to happen. Free white persons, read it. Hold the mic to the brother again. Because you need to know it's a legal status. Because you have so-called black leaders that keep on telling you that the European is the white man.
Alrighty. Free white persons. That's page 792 of Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Free white persons, quote unquote, free white persons, referred to in the Naturalization Act as amended by Act July 14, 1870, has meaning naturally given to it when first used in 1 Statute 103, C3.
So that's when they started using it to apply to them. And when you do the research, it's Knights of Columbus, Ku Klux Klan Oath, 1854, 1863, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois. Continue.
Meaning all persons belonging to the European races, then commonly counted as white and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have emigrated.
Immigrated. They're immigrants. They're not Americans. Get it clear. Continue.
It, and it is free white,
Free white persons.
It includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basques and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tatar inhabitants of South Russia.
Now you understand the Dungy case again with Lincoln?
Yeah.
Continue.
It, which is free white persons again, it does not mean Caucasian race.
Can you read that again?
It, which is free white persons, does not mean Caucasian race.
Read it one more time, because some people can't get this.
Oh, I like 3 times. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, or Mongolian peoples who inhabit Persia. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person.
So as you can see, it's a legal status, isn't it?
That's it.
And you see the Moors are white people, and they've been calling themselves black, haven't they?
Yes,
They gave up their birthright, didn't they?
Yes. And
What did Raleigh say in the questionnaire? You're not Negro, black, or colored people. What else he said? Why did the European take on the title of white?
Purity means God.
Ruler of the land. As soon as you call a white man, you gave up your birthright. Then he takes your estate, and you want to march and pray. But you want to talk about Jesus, God, Allah, and Muhammad. You're full of crap. Do you understand? You got to stop faking it, because the world ain't playing with you. Go ahead, sis. Stay in the mic.
I'm still confused on,
No, you're not, but go ahead.
on how
No, you're not, but go ahead.
on how you said, okay, so
No, I'm not okay. That means all killed. All right.
see, just
You can do it.
No, see, remember when they were killing the women and children? Because we hid some of the women and children up in the mountains. And when the Europeans were going on their unum sanctum slaughter campaign, they was killing the women and children and the animals. That's when the Moors gave up. And the military term was AK, all killed. it corrupted into okay. That's why Moors don't say okay. So when you say that, that indicates, do you really know your culture? See, and this is back to being competent when you're talking to the Europeans. Your language will tell them your degrees.
Yes, it will.
Do you understand? Now, when you're Moorish American and you've been nationalized, you're supposed to, your language is supposed to start reflecting your consciousness.
Yeah.
Now, so it's not a criticism. You must correct it because you're going to have to correct your friends. Because they don't know they can't get killed off. Because while we're excusing ourselves, they're plotting on killing you. So we keep on playing as we want to, because they're not playing. And if it wasn't for the Manchurians stepping in, a lot more Moors would be dead. Right now. Not that they ain't planning on trying to do it, they just, some brakes is on them.
So,
But continue.
so we're Asiatics.
Of course we're Asiatics.
But
Didn't we call all the land Asia?
I was about to say that. So Asia, so we're saying that we really.
I'm not saying, what do you know about the history and geography?
That we came from Africa, that's not true. So people, so us.
Africa's modern.
So we also.
Ancient Amexem, modern Africa, contemporary America. Amexem. Ancient Amexem. We really gotta move these things. Let me see. Remember this, April. It is so important for us to correct our language, because our failure to do so, as long as we continue to demonstrate incompetence, the European got mandated. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Because he is.
Murphy's in record.
Yeah, it needs something.
Can you do something, please?
Somebody got some hand sanitizer?
Now, listen. Great. Thank you. Ancient Amexem. Ancient Amexem. It was someone who just recently, was I talking to you or was it Delilah?
About
Where the Asiatics was declaring, oh, when you shared the document with the brother from Tanzania?
Yes.
Can you tell them about that?
I shared the Dungy paperwork with a friend of mine whose husband is from Tanzania. His wife, my friend, she actually lived in Tanzania for about 10 years, and they got married, came back, got family. So they're here now. So they're both instructors. They're here in Mexico.
Is that North America?
North America.
Thank you very much.
North America, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, they're here, they live here now in North America, and he's an instructor, he was a professor there, came here, teaches night school. But anyway, I gave him the paperwork, he sat down and he started reading it, and he just lit up and was like, wonderful, wonderful, this is wonderful. No, we're not black, we're not black. He started touching his skin. He's like, we're not black. No, that's crazy. He said, that's crazy. You know, this whole thing about us being black. So he was very appreciative that I gave him the paperwork.
Because most of them think we sleep in sellouts.
Yeah.
Why do you think nobody
He
likes
was
that?
very excited. When he gave it to his wife, he was like, look, read this, read this.
Is that erasure? No, this is permanent. This is dry erase.
dry right
Yeah, because it really ain't gonna get off now.
He knows this.
When they know it,
outside
Right,
of the country,
now-
they know the history. Outside of North America.
A lot of these, it's just like, one day, me and Ross had gone to, we had done a class in Germantown, and we had stopped past, that Wawa on 38th Street, you know, that we pass all the time near Children's Hospital. And it was late at night, and I went in to get a coffee, for myself and Roz. And it was about 3 people in the store, And this brother Sindhi, for Hindustani, that people who don't know nationality call them Indians. They're not Indians. They're Sindhi, Hindustani. He was looking at me, and I had in my mind, I ain't gonna steal the coffee, you know whatever. But when I came up to the counter, and I was tired too, and he put his fingers on the desk like that, and he said, "You're a traveling man," right? And I didn't catch it because his accent was so strong. He said, "You're a traveling man." And that's a term they use in masonry.
Right.
Because I had my seal on, that seal that Mariah had sent me years ago, the Great Seal. And I caught on, I said, "No, I'm Moor. It's my land." And he paused and he says, "I know. I just want to see if you knew it." Take it off.
Yes. Yes.
They all know.
Yes.
They're waiting for us. We are holding up the world with our dumb nigger stuff that we keep practicing and trying to impose it on the civilized world, keep getting rejected, and then we want to get mad. Do you understand? And then talk about we people of color. Meanwhile, we talk about we know Jesus, God, Allah, and Muhammad. We're full of doo-doo. And the world is not going to sit around, nobody's going to sit around and give you these lessons of your history because they already know it. Because you're responsible to this, whether you know it or not. And you're being held to this. You're just here, we're trying to make you responsible to the honor of your mothers and fathers. And you need to be, not because we're telling you, because they're getting ready to kill you off. And they're not playing with you.
You were getting into Moorish.
Moorish is because we're mixed. And see, this is what happens. This is what happens with this. Brother Franklin. This is what happens with a lot of people. We have egos. And our people want to go back into the history and they want to declare the good without declaring the bad. They want to act like we're all self-righteous and the Europeans all dirty.
Right.
Well, it's not like that. It's 50-50.
That's right. That's right.
The Moors fell because we violated our own culture and laws.
Islam.
That's why we always say when you get back in power, treat the European nice. If you knew your history, you would understand with the Saadian dynasty, etc., a lot of things that the Europeans are upset about. And even Hammurabi Bey's law that is still operative now, then you understand the Knights of Columbus Ku Klux Klan operations. Don't feel like you're totally innocent because you're not innocent. You need to know your history. And you ain't being all good.
That's right.
You ain't getting kicked in your butt because you've been spiritual.
Ouch.
How many people have ever read the charter of the Ku Klux Klan? You have? I tell you what, if you gave it to the average person and then put the title on it, they wouldn't even object to
they
it.
would not. Nope.
They said, "Well, this is beautiful, protecting the women and the children." And as soon as you say Klan, they start getting all simple. That ain't like black people. They don't even know who black people are. Black people is European. He just traded places with you. He stole your birthright. You understand? They don't even know. Now, when you look at the free white persons in the law book, Israel.
Yes.
You look at free white persons in the law dictionary, and you see the Naturalization Act of what?
1870.
Right. Who changed the Naturalization Act from 1790? Who did that?
Europeans.
Ulysses S. Grant. Then, when did the Europeans start calling themselves white people? Under what order? The Whig-or-More Party. Horace Greeley.
Yes.
When they established what? The Republican Party. after the Nebraska Act, Kansas-Nebraska Act, the Whittemore Party split. And it was suggested that the Europeans take on the noble title of the Moors, white people. What's the law book telling you? It does not mean Caucasian race.
Right.
Who keeps saying that? Negro people that claim to be black, keep calling him white man. Then when he acts like it, then they want to get mad and march all over the place. See, the world ain't got time for these people who can't damn read, but they're going to tell you about Jesus, God, Allah, and Muhammad all the time. They don't even know them books are cosmology books. And every major holiday is dealing with the transit of the moon as it dances around the sun, as the sun dances around the earth, and then they tell you it ain't astrology. They're full of crap.
Yeah, pardon me for not being there. Somebody was just asking about the information for the drive, so I was responding to them. People are literally asking, can they...
Yo, but this is the deal. This is the deal.
Look up Convention of
Dissolution of colonial governments, colonial countries. That's international law.